Welcome to I Still Call It a Lariat, a pro wrestling podcast. I am the host today. I've taken back the reins. This is stevezapf.
Whoa.
Are you saying boo or are you saying boo earns?
I was saying boo earns.
Thank you, guys. With me as always, first we've got my hetero life mate, my partner in crime, Mr. Showtime Michael Wright, and the always indistinguishable scarps Esquire. Boys, we're going to have a great show. This is our go home before Mania. We just did our top 10 WrestleMania picks. That was a really fun show. I never thought I'd say this, though. I needed a day off from wrestling after that because that was a lot of matches.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Today, we will be talking a bit about the CM Punk interview with Ariel Helwani. We will go into some of the things going on in AEW and their releases. And, of course, all the blow-off from the Raw blow-off episode going into Mania. Boys, let's just get right into it. First things first, that CM Punk Ariel Helwani interview. He was on the Ariel Helwani MMA Hour, which, by the way, lasted an hour and a half. That's false advertising.
That's not how math works.
Yeah, that's just bad. That's just bad math. But he spoke for the first time publicly, at least, about the situation that took place at Wembley with him in AEW, and he spoke very eloquently and he spoke very professionally about everything. And he said that he kind of went out there and still did the match for, obviously, the fans, but for the agents involved, and mainly Jerry Lynn and Samoa Joe, who he figured he'd just never get to wrestle again. And that Tony kind of just wouldn't boss up on it. That's what it's kind of sounded like. I know he mentioned that it seems like it's a company where they don't want to make money. And we'll get more into that in a little bit, but that's kind of what our take has been for the last couple of weeks anyway, is just that they like booking matches, but they don't seem to have anything backing to them. And that really seemed to be like Punk's big gripe about everything, is that he needed to go work with adults again.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway as well. When you looked at it, the whole wrestling business as a whole has always been about making money, and not say that that's the end all be all. And I took a little bit of, it took me back a little bit where he only wants to put on good matches. Putting on good matches could mean that you're making money as well. Like, I love watching some of these 5-star matches that AEW puts together, but at the end of the day, like, I need a little bit more sometimes on why I care about them, and we'll get into one of those matches in a second. But end of the day, good wrestling with good storytelling will draw money. And if you can kind of get that perfect symmetry together, these shows that are 25,000 person stadiums with only 5,000 people in them, will start filling up more and more.
Well, I feel like Bruce Lee said it best: practice one punch 10,000 times, not 10,000 punches one time, right? So you don't want to saturate or oversaturate the market, which is show after show after show, like these matches here. Check me out. Here's all of them. Right? Put out quality. That's what counts. Perfect it.
Yeah, exactly. And we keep saying it. We keep saying it over and over and over again that AEW, we want it to succeed. We want another promotion to be able to watch. And it's like they just don't, they're almost actively trying to not do what they need to do.
It's frustrating because they have the talent, right? They have the talent that we want to see. They're bringing in everyone that could put on good matches. You just need the red thread to bring it all together so you actually care who's fighting who.
Well, they do have the talent, but you know what else they have? They have the money. They do. So why not put it to good use, really hone in on storytelling, and make people care about your product? And then you will, in turn, make money as a business.
So, Scarps, that's a really good point. And I think that the mentality here is that that's what WWE does the best, is the storytelling aspect of things and the promos. You watched last week's Raw and it took, a half hour to get to your first match. And them doing that so well, like, don't fight on their battleground, fight on your own. So in that mindset, Tony's like, if I put on the best matches, I'll draw people. But the problem is, it's like politics today, right? It's both ends of the spectrum. Like, no one really wants to see both ends of the spectrum. You want to get somewhere in the middle where you get both of the best of both worlds. And that's what I want to see from AEW, because they have a better opportunity to do this than I think maybe even WWE can do it, because WWE is so entrenched in the storytelling that they only have so much time when you're giving multiple people 20 minutes for a segment, 5 minutes for a segment, 10 minutes for a segment, where they don't need to do that with AEW. You're just going to have to build the story a little bit more and then focus on these 5-star matches. Let them burn a little bit. Let them get in here. And I think that you'll see a really good balance between the two of them if they can get that right.
Well, I mean, all those pesky matches get in the way of WWE's promos.
They sure do. And don't try to watch it on Hulu, because you only get an hour and a half. And they cut out all the matches.
I think a good outline or a good group that AEW could fashion themselves after is like 1980s NWA. I feel like that's the world they should live in, where yes, you are getting stories, but you are getting the best hard-hitting matches. Hogan, Flair, anyone that was involved in that era says the way they marketed were completely different. WWF, WWE.
As soon as you said 1980s NWA, I immediately went to Compton. And I was thinking of old school hip hop, bro. And I was like, yo, let's get it. I'm in. I can pull for this. Let's go.
But that too. No, like do that as well. Like straight out of Compton. Like let's do this. Like F the police. But they should do that where WWE is still selling milk and cookies a lot of times. Maybe they need to start selling whiskey and women. They need to start having the wrestling champion. They need to have the guys that are going out there and putting on 25, 30-minute matches. But to get to that 25, 30-minute match, you're also getting 2 months, 3 months of build-up where it's like, okay, well, they wrestled in April. And then the group that was with the heel jumped the babyface. And so he was out for a few weeks, but the whole time you had talks in the hospital with him or whatever. And oh my God, like, thank you for the letters, and show them when I get back, I'm going to take care of this. And then they get another match, and then another. And then all of a sudden you get, I don't know, 25, 30-minute I Quit match to blow off something. And you get the Tully and Magnum, or you get the Dusty and Flair, or any of those things that you could have gotten back in the old NWA days before it was WCW. I just feel like that should be the model that they try to produce off of.
If they only had people in the back that actually lived that life that they could listen to.
Oh my God, they do.
My goodness.
Like, wait. Like an Arn Anderson?
Yeah, like exactly.
Or maybe even a Ric Flair type character, perhaps?
Oh, wait. Actually, I'm pretty sure that they are employing 3 out of 4 of the original 4 Horsemen. They have Tully on.
They have Tully too? I didn't realize
they have Tully too, or they had Tully at least. Tully was one of their original managers. He was with FTR originally, which that works perfectly.
I was gonna say, how is Ole still on the payroll?
Actually, the way Tony pays, he might be. To go along with that, guys, big news for AEW, along with their financial stuff, was that they finally did their first major round of talent releases. A lot of the talent that has been released before this, it wasn't so much a release as they were just not re-signing contracts. Or it was talent that was specifically asking for a release. So the talent that was released, the boys, Dasha Current, Jose the assistant, yes, that's his actual name.
It's a great name.
Jorah Joel, Anthony Henry, Gravity, Stu Grayson, Parker Boudreaux, and Slim J.
Hey, wasn't that a John Mayer song, Gravity?
It might be.
I
believe so.
Okay.
Or Jason Mraz, I'm not sure which. I get them confused sometimes.
We're going to go Mayer on that one, because that's not a Mraz song.
Fair enough. So
he has the whole collection.
Yeah,
that's fair. It's
I have
actually he's gonna cry himself to sleep with it tonight.
I have it on vinyl. Don't judge me.
It's the most pure form of music. All right, guys. So out of the
Out of
list
Jesus. Got it.
I just listed off, have any of you seen them on AEW television? Like, what was
No.
I don't even care that they got released, because the last time I saw any of them was F all whenever.
Yeah, I mean, majority of them were all ROH talent at the end of the day, and I'm sure that they were doing good work down there. I haven't been watching a ton of ROH at this point in time. Regret that they were released, of course. Like, I don't want to see anyone lose their job in that way, but at the same time, they weren't being utilized. So hopefully, this will open up better doors for them. Hey, TNA, why don't you grab some of that talent?
So I was actually going to ask, have these releases, or at least through the grapevine, have you heard any whispers about these releases leading to any major pickups?
So I'm not sure what their contracts equal out to. After listening to the Hawani interview, though, it sounds like AEW doesn't have non-compete clauses in there, or at least not big non-compete clauses. So it might only be like a 30-day turnaround for these guys, which that'd be awesome, because they can go somewhere else. The boys have been kind of mainstays in Ring of Honor forever. My big loss on this one is Dasha Current. She was one of their better ring announcers and one of their better backstage interviewers. I thought she had a lot of professionalism, and honestly, I think if WWE picks her up, that's going to be a win for them. I think she fits their dichotomy very, very well. Parker Boudreaux, this is a guy that every company that he works for, it seems like they don't know what to do with this guy. He's a legitimate Division I heavyweight wrestler. Does
he have a shtick, a gimmick?
So he looks like a very, very tattooed Brock Lesnar.
Is he like Cajun? What's his deal? Because his Boudreaux is his last name. He should be the Raging Cajun.
He's actually...
I just figured it out for him. Done.
He should be Cajun. He's usually just a silent monster in the background. I've never heard him actually talk. He was actually with Swerve when Swerve first came around doing the heel stuff. And then they kind of just faded him off to the background. Stu Grayson has been in AEW kind of forever. Gravity is just another one of these interchangeable luchadors that they have, unfortunately. I hate to say it like that, but all the luchadors they have are right now kind of interchangeable. It's just another guy in a...
Yeah, but they're so athletic.
They are, but it's just another guy that's in a colorful outfit and a mask that the American fans might not know, because we're kind of bastards like that.
Well, I'm waiting for Nacho Libre to make his grand debut.
He needs to. None of these guys... I've heard Anthony Henry's name before. I haven't actually got a chance to see him work, so I couldn't speak on that one. But he seems to have had the most promise. I could see him ending up in TNA. I would love it if he started tagging with Joe Hendry, so it could be Hendry and Henry.
I'm so glad you're not writing these shows, dude.
Other than that, I hate you, by the way.
And now,
Just so you
number 2, Hendry, coming out with number 3, Henry.
That's a good point. So anyway.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So
I
anyway,
hate everybody. So, Showtime, you threw me off. Sorry. Showtime, you were telling me beforehand that Nick Nemeth also won a title finally, other than the IWGP title. That's kind of big news, because the guy he beat is the current king of the indies, and that's Matt Cardona. Cardona's been rated the top indie worker the last 2 years, and considering the fact that he's an ex-WWE guy, that's usually a spot reserved for actual indie guys. But that's kind of a big deal, because that's Nemeth, like you said, trying to reinvent himself and consolidate titles.
Yeah, they're doing kind of the shadow of each other. So in SCX, Nick Nemeth beat Matt Cardona for their title. Not a huge title by any means, but I just think he's going to start collecting a lot. We've been talking a lot about him having that Triple Crown, 3 major titles, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him start walking around with like 15 different independent titles or something along those lines. I just wanted to call out Nick Namath on kind of what he's doing because I respect the route that he was going. I feel like we would have done the same thing with Matt Cardona if we would have started this podcast a bit earlier. And so I just think I'm just trying to keep track of Nick Namath because I think that he's going to make a big splash for himself, and then you're going to see him come out of the woodwork in maybe a year or two and just be a force, or single-handedly own TNA.
That could definitely be an option. Now the guy who beat Matt Cardona just made a return to AEW. I don't think he signed, but he returned to face his former mentor, Adam Edge Copeland. This match was a banger. It was definitely awesome, and they have such a history that when he came out for the Cope Open, the Cope Open, whatever it's called.
Oakland.
Yes, the Cope Oakland.
I quit.
Yes, it was such a pop for Cardona coming out. That was really cool. I really, really enjoyed this match. Showtime, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, this match was dope. I think that the one thing to take away is that this is a match that Cardona never thought that he was going to get. He wanted to do this. This is his dream match. He's like, Edge was always kind of his hero, and when you looked back at it, like he thought he was going to be able to do it in WWE. Then Edge got hurt and retired, and then when he came back, Cardona was let go. I really never thought that this match was going to end up happening, and then he got the call to kind of come up and make this challenge, this open challenge, and kind of get that dream match that he always wanted. So, which was awesome. It was a great match from start to finish, and I'm glad that he got that match. I think that's awesome when you're able to live that dream.
I could see this leading to Cardona finally getting picked up by WWE too, because they don't like the idea of AEW just picking up talent sometimes. And he said he doesn't want to end his career, in a gymnasium. He wants to do it in front of an arena. So I can see him finally doing.
I also like the way that AEW is open to bringing in some of these indie guys, even if they're not signed with ROH or with AEW or anything like that, and kind of give them one-off deals. So like I dig them bringing that in and getting people like Cardona bigger spotlights, and then when he goes back on the indies, he's just a little bit higher on the echelon than he was before he went in there. So that's cool. But I'm with you. I can see WWE scooping him up, doing something with him. I could fantasy book all night. I'm not going to do that right now. I got enough of that later in the show. So, but I think this was a great spot for him. I haven't heard anything out of contract with him in AEW, him in WWE at this point in time. This just happened, so we'll kind of see what happens next.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays out. So moving from the TNT title to the TBS title, we had a TBS title eliminator with Willow Nightingale, Chris Stratlander, Sky Blue, and I forget the fourth. I apologize for that, but Nightingale won it. And
you're doing great, bud.
Thanks, man. Nightingale won it. This was kind of more of a move on Mercedes Moné's storyline than anything else. They're all going after, Julia Hart's TBS title, which for the majority of AEW, I feel like has gotten a lot more almost shine than the actual AEW World's Women title. Even because they built up Jade Cargill when she was the TBS champion, and they put her on this like 40 match winning streak for like a year and a half where no one was beating her. I feel like this TBS title kind of gets a little bit more shine on it than the actual women's title. I know Showtime, you had said that you dig the fact that there's a women's mid-card title. I think it is cool. What's your thoughts on this title just in general and kind of how they're building it up right now?
Yeah, I think they're easily kind of trying to bring a little bit of that Nightingale with Moné because they have the history that they have to each other. But even more so, I love them having a secondary title. It's like a TV title for the women. I think this is something that WWE should definitely do as well. because just having one world title, or even though there's 2 world titles, one for each brand, they are investing more in women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is getting significantly better than it's been in the past. You should reward that with a secondary title. I don't need 37 titles. Like, not asking for them to do a crazy amount. It doesn't need to be 1-to-1 where there's the women's intercontinental title and the women's US title. We don't need all of that. But let's throw them another one where they can kind of build more storylines around the women in that sense. Because right now, that's one thing I've been kind of missing with the women's storylines right now. If there's not a title involved, there isn't a story. There's a couple little ones, the Dupree stories happening kind of in the background. There's a few of those little ones, but without a title, it seems like they don't really get too much airtime. So, like, let's use this as an excuse to give the women more airtime. Not that they need an excuse, but it seems that they may. I don't need an excuse, but they think they do.
That's fair. That's fair.
You bastard, look at you. Yeah, definitely so.
That's a good point. So, no, but you should definitely move on. Keep going.
Yes. So from the TBS title, tag team title tournament, next thing up, we had the quarterfinals for the tag team tournament. So we have the Young Bucks moving on after beating Private Party. We have FTR moving on after beating the Infantry. We have the Best Friends, which is the team of Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, which I would assume that the Kentucky Gentleman was in their background or as their manager, beat the United Kingdom. I think that's a mistake on their part because they were the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I think they should have, and they're supposed to be part of the biggest heel group in the company. They should have had them move on. Big Bill and Starks beat Top Flight. That makes sense to me because Ricky Starks and Big Bill are the former tag team champions. They're actually who Sting and Darby beat for the tag team titles.
Well, all I know is, boys, is that regular Cassidy is trending up.
We provoked his tanning privilege, as you said.
He's regular Cassidy. That's what he is.
Or what was the other one that you're going to take away his tanning lotion so that he becomes Red Cassidy? You said both of those things.
No, I've never said Red Cassidy before in my life until just now, and you can go back and check the tapes, my friend.
I've heard you say it. I'm getting really excited about the finish of the tag team title tournament. I'd love to see who wins it and where they move on from this. I feel like the obvious choice is going to be the Bucks and FTR. I'm hoping it's not, though. Would like to see something that kind of changes up the obvious on that one.
I mean, we don't like to see FTR win everything, right?
I do like to see FTR win. I do like to see FTR win everything.
I think they're so good, man. I think they're so good.
If it weren't for the fact that they're in the same bracket, I would love to see the finals be FTR and Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
Yeah, that should have been fixed earlier on. I also would have liked to see Undisputed Kingdom get to the finals. Like, it'd be like the dark horse. Oh, we didn't expect them to actually do it, and here they are.
Meanwhile, they're the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Like, they should probably be making it.
But if you think about it, put that in like the WWE universe, having the NXT champions come up to a big tournament with the guys in WWE and go out there and beat the veterans is not what you would normally see. So that is a bit unexpected.
No, but you wouldn't have the NXT tag team champions lose to a thrown together tag team either.
100%. And that's why I was saying I wanted to see them in the finals.
Yeah. Them losing to the Best Friends, because this isn't the normal team of the Best Friends that they have. Normally it would be Beretta and Taylor, which if they had lost to them, that would have made more sense to me. They've been a tag team for almost as long as United Kingdom has been.
So they had Orange Cassidy drop the belt, so they don't know what to do with them. So make them a tag team. Good.
Because he's Tony's favorite wrestler.
Well, it's cool. Just do something.
On to Showtime's favorite wrestler lately, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay faced Shibata this past week.
I was like, we're not talking about our truth. What are you talking about?
Ospreay's great, by the way, so I'm on board with this one.
I'm on board with this too. This was a great match. Showtime, you said this before we went on the air. This was a great match that we had no reason to care about.
Yeah, it was a great match. This is exactly what CM Punk was talking about. In my opinion, this is like a perfect example of it. These guys put on a banger. Absolutely love the match. Just wish I cared about it. Like there was no build up. There was no reason why I cared about this match outside of it just being a good match. And me, as someone who just appreciates matches, that's fine. But I still just want a little bit more that allows us to get a little bit of story. Like these guys had a bunch of history in Japan. Let's bring it up. Like let's do something here that makes this match have just a little bit more sizzle to it, so we care what the outcome is, rather than I don't care who wins. I just want to see a good match.
I don't know if I've ever related to a statement that Showtime has made as much as this one, because it just reminds me of our friendship. It's like, yeah, this is one of the greatest friends I have that I don't care about. That's how I feel every day, Showtime. So I feel that statement wholeheartedly. I just feel it wholeheartedly, man. That one definitely resonated with me.
It also feels like, hey, we lured Ospreay away from Japan to have him face no one but his Japanese rivals. It's why? Why was that the point? Like, why is he not feuding with your actual homegrown stars?
Or if you're going to do that, just tell us you're doing that. And like the Legion of Doom or the bad guys from Japan are coming in to stop you from running away from them, or come up with weird gimmick storyline here.
And he's taking them all on.
Like,
Yeah, like they're so mad that he left that they're coming to get him.
There you go.
I'd be in for that. That sounds way better than what they're doing with them.
I'd pop for that for sure.
The only thing I'd like to see that they do with Ospreay, and this is, I heard someone else say that who is friends with Ospreay, I'd like to see him present him a little bit leaner. Not cleaner. That's not the word I'm looking for. I don't want him in tracksuits anymore. If they brought him out in the suit and like really like dressed him up a little bit, even though he's supposed to be the guy from, the streets, be the guy from the streets that, hey, I got a ton of money now. I'm still that guy. But look at this great suit I have, especially because he cleans up really well. And I'd like to see him be presented as the star that he is in that sense, especially since they're not doing that with Okada, who's the other big star that they're doing with. Like, he's just dressing up in track pants and t-shirts with the Bucks right now.
That sounds very New Jersey.
It might be.
Big gold chains.
Yeah, just
big gold chain.
A tracksuit, maybe velour. I don't know.
Steven, I agree with you. Like that's a comment. I don't know how to say this better. There's just no storyline with him right now to push him in that direction. So, like, yes, you might be right if they pushed him in that direction, or keep him in the tracksuit because he's from the streets and he doesn't want to forget who he is. If you're going to go in that direction, or give him a bolo tie because he's taken on the fact that he moved to Texas and he freaking loves big hats. I don't know. Just do something. Do something, please.
Give us some type of story with him.
Anything.
Don't give him a bolo tie, please.
It takes a special man to pull off a bolo tie.
It does. It really does.
And he can do it. And if you don't like it, that he's all in on the bolo tie, but that's on you and not on him.
Now you sound like Tony Khan.
No, that was my Ospreay impression. That was his.
You didn't say bruv afterwards.
Oh, sorry, bruv.
We'll see how that plays
now
out.
I know it's Ospreay.
Sorry. I'm still working on it. It's still new. I'm new on this bandwagon.
But you are fully on that bandwagon.
Hey, when I join a bandwagon, I'm all in.
Well, guys in tracksuits. We had Chad Gable get the crap kicked out of him by Gunther on Monday Night Raw. He's been wearing a lot of tracksuits. Apparently, he's training Sammy in the background. That's been their background story. I liked the segment. I liked Gunther coming out and, again, just decimating everyone. I do love Gunther. I like everyone involved in this storyline in general. I like Sammy, I like Chad, and I like Gunther. I'm hoping that what I want coming out of Mania is what's going to happen. But we will see. It's a couple days away.
I'm with you, Steve. I thought this whole thing was done really well. The training montage was done well. I wish they would stop referring to it as the Rocky storyline, like show don't tell. Like, yes, I understand the similarities. I've seen this. Everyone in the world, everyone watching WWE has seen Rocky. Don't say he's having his own Rocky moment. It's like, yeah, stop telling me. Just show me what
I
you want to show
personally
me.
love Rocky Maivia, so I'm all for it
Exactly. Fanny packs everywhere.
all day.
And someone who I think is going to have a Rocky Maivia outfit, Seth Rollins.
Do you think that's going to be real? You think he's going
I
to come
think
down?
that's real. I think that's absolutely a thing that's going to happen.
That's who he is as a person. There's no way he doesn't do that.
Rollins is the same guy that wore the polka dot outfit when he was wrestling Cody. He's definitely wearing a Rocky Maivia outfit. It's gonna be flamboyant.
It's gonna be glamorous.
It's gonna be terrible, but it's gonna be amazing at the same time.
You know what would be even cooler is if all the lights were very dim and he just dressed like Roman and pretended to be him for like a solid 20 minutes. I think everybody would buy it.
Everyone.
Well, I think at the end of that tag match, he's going to do his best Roman impression and double cross Crody, like I've been saying for weeks. But we'll see.
Or it's just going to be his best Rollins impression and double cross somebody, because that's what he does.
Crisscross applesauce, man. That's what's happening.
So
Rollins, Rock, and Roman had a segment to start off Raw. It set up the main event. We got a Solo Sikoa versus Seth Rollins match because of it. Seth came out of the crowd, very old school, very Shield. I thought the segment was good. I thought in general, again, WWE, The Rock, Roman, Rollins, this whole thing going into Mania, they are printing money at this point. They don't need to touch each other. They don't need to. I like what happens later, but if Roman and Cody don't touch each other, and Rock, and even if Rock had never beaten up Cody last week, I would still have been fine with it. I think they don't need to have the fight to get to the fight.
Yeah, The Rock's putting on a masterclass right now. It's so apparent. He's on a whole different level than everybody else. Even the people in this game, like that's why people complain about him overshadowing Roman and some of the other people that are in this feud. I think the only one that's even really keeping up with him is Cody, and that might be just because he's really good at getting his ass kicked by the Rock.
It's only because he's on the other side of the coin. Because if he were on the same side as the Rock, you're not even talking about him.
100%. But like, I don't think Rollins is keeping up with him right now. Like even that segment this weekend, it was good. Don't get me wrong. Not this weekend, on Monday. It was a great segment. You can't hold the candle to Rock, and he's just doing his thing.
How do you hold the candle to the most electrifying superstar in sports entertainment?
Maybe that's the problem. Just trying to hold a candle to him. Now I'm getting in on it.
He's too hot, man. Too hot to handle. Late night TV, boys. Listen, The Rock is dropping F-bombs now, boys. Okay? I love it. Love.
I do enjoy that he is doing this. I agree with Showtime. I think this is him trying to push the envelope a little bit, and them doing this to make sure that they can test the waters with a little bit more of a mature scene.
He's safe.
The other side of that is, we said this last week, most of it's happening on SmackDown, and they're not going to be on SmackDown much longer. So what are they going to do? They're not going to take him off 3 months before they go to a different channel. They're just going to try to get the most out of him how they can. And I think Rock knows it, and it's a lot easier for you to have an argument that The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, is the one who said this than, I don't know, then Chad Gable said it. Because someone in television is going to go, who's Chad Gable? Where if you say, well, The Rock said it. Okay, well, we might give you a pass.
But when Chad Gable says it later, it's like, well, you didn't have a problem with it when The Rock said it. Like, what's the double standard here?
Because he's The Rock?
I mean, that's
No,
really
well,
what
it just sets them up to go down this path later. Like you let The Rock take the heat for it. He's on the board of directors. He's a megastar. You let him go in here and show everybody what you can and can't do. If he gets his slapped, okay, there's a boundary. And then you then you take the leash off everybody else. You probably have to turn it
Exactly.
down a little bit. Like not everyone can go full Rock here, but at the end of the day, he's really doing a great job. He's bringing in more eyeballs. Even if Roman says we've been making this cool since 2020, you're making it really cool for the last couple weeks.
But listen, man,
Since The Rock came
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
I'm here for the animation, right? Get as creative as you want. But having said that, there is a special caliber or persona that is able to get away with, or at least push that envelope. The Rock is one of those superstars. He has the charisma, he has the appeal, the fan draw, and everything that he is able to push that envelope. Whereas, like you guys said, I mean, it would be crazy if some other Jamoke came out and just started going MF, MF, MF. You'd be like, yo, get this clown out of here. This is not how we do things.
Especially if he did it out of nowhere like that. Let's face it, everything The Rock has done recently has been a lot more adult. It's not like he's having movies where he's not
Like
using
the Tooth
curse words.
Fairy.
He has been in Tooth Fairy for a very long time.
Yeah, but CM Punk started doing this as well with his last with that three-way promo that they cut the other day with McIntyre and Rollins. I could see McIntyre, Rollins, CM Punk having this more adult content. We use Chad Gable as the opposite because he's clean cut, babyface kind of stuff that you would never expect him to do this. So I hope he doesn't go down that route. But Orton wants to curse. Even Kevin Owens has that kind of rougher exterior. I can see them all kind of leading.
You know what I would have loved if Ronda Rousey, when she was doing her thing, and she may have, I don't know, but I feel like she could have gotten away with it too because she's one of the baddest people on the planet. She could have come in there and been like, done, and nobody would have questioned it because it's Ronda freaking Rousey.
When Rousey first came in, that's kind of what I wanted her to do, actually. And I think the problem is they fed her down our throats as like this smiling, I'm just happy to be here, baby face. I'm like, that's not who you really are. Like, we all saw who you really were in MMA, and that's not who you were. Like, we can all be happy that you're here, but at the same time, like, that is one of my biggest problems with what she was doing is it didn't feel very natural.
Well, for the record, I have no problems with her because she's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. I'm kind of terrified, guys. She is a bad woman, though. I mean, let's not joke.
She would beat up and kill all three of us.
Probably at the same time.
Yeah. Most likely.
But enough about us.
But
enough about us. On to the You Googly.
The You Googly. Yeah,
You
Drew had a
Googly.
great segment. I love the cinematic angle he had here. I didn't like that he was at Raw for no reason, where just so Rollins can see he has a plan B, which I guess plan B is just getting your ass kicked. But at the end of the day, I really like this segment. He really put himself over. It's driving me crazy that everyone I talk to about Drew McIntyre is like, I love this heel change he's doing, and I don't see him as a heel. He's the one getting snuck with super kicks and curb stomps. He's the one not going forward. He's the one talking about the fans. He's the one saying about the prestige of the title. I don't see how he's heel. Maybe it's tweener because like he doesn't give a shit and he will go out there and join the bloodline in a beatdown just because he wants to get his hands on Rollins. But I don't see how he's a heel whatsoever right now.
Well, listen, he's kind of started giving everybody those vibes, right? Now he's complaining about not getting his shot, complaining about not having the chances that he so rightfully deserves, as he's said in public. I think that's at least for him, the best way to start that transition. If he's trying to be a tweener now, to become heel, you have to start bashing everything. Why haven't I gotten these chances? Become a crybaby, and then kind of turn it into now F all of you. I'm just going to start beating the piss out of people. I feel like that's how you kind of make that switch.
So I think he's doing the one thing that we always talk about all heels should do. He doesn't think he's the heel. He doesn't think he's the bad guy in this story. He just thinks everyone else is doing things wrong. And I don't disagree with him completely. Showtime, we've talked about this. I think Rollins is doing a lot of heel stuff right now. I think Drew is not like, if you look at what he's doing, he's not preemptively striking somebody. He's not attacking them from behind. He's not doing all this stuff. In fact, like you said, he got super kicked. He got sucker punched with a super kick while he was talking to Punk.
He got sucker kicked?
He got sucker kicked.
Sucker kicked.
He did get sucker kicked.
That's
Now
rough.
then, with him, because he is getting booed right now, I will say this. After Mania, Drew McIntyre can go full heel with 4 simple words. I told you so. If after everything is said and done and he wins, all he has to do is, I told you so.
I got
told
goosebumps.
I told you that Seth was going to do this. I told you I was going to do this. I told you everything. At no point did I lie to you. You want to know what the 2 things fans hate? Being told that they were getting all this information right from the get, and we were too dumb to realize it, and hearing how good someone else is. It's the 4 horsemen thing. You know, when you have all the titles and you start talking about how great you are, we don't want to hear about it.
I agree with a lot of what you said. The one thing that I really don't agree with is with him like not believing he's the heel, because in those situations that person's typically wrong. And Drew has not been wrong this whole time, in my opinion. Sure, he'll over rev on how he took out CM Punk, but like, is Punk the good guy? Sure, he got cheered in Chicago in his home court advantage, but I don't see Punk as the good guy in this grouping. So like that's my thing that kills me. Sure, maybe I told you so gets him. I think he can go full on heel against CM Punk when he is cleared to fight, and maybe they set up a match in some at SummerSlam or something along those lines, and he can go that route. He's just not the heel that everyone kind of makes him seem like right now. And I think Rollins is that heel right now, and they're just telegraphing everything that's going to happen at Mania. And like, maybe I'm wrong. I will be disappointed if he doesn't turn out Cody at Mania. That's kind of the way I see it, because Rollins is clearly the heel in this whole situation.
I mean, you're the one that called him a turd burglar.
He is a turd burglar. I want to see him get kicked in the face. He's doing such a good job at making me want to see him get claymored.
Yeah. I want
you know,
that.
Steve, there are 4 other words you could say to do a quick heel turn. And that's, I didn't like Elf. It's a great movie. You want to turn, bud? That's how you do it. I didn't like Elf. You catch a lot of flack.
Everybody likes Elf.
Exactly.
Even heels like Elf.
I'm just saying that you want to turn some people against you real quick.
Yeah, but that's just a lie. Like, now you're just lying to people.
Yeah, so unbelievable.
I didn't get Inception.
So anyway,
so ending
definitely.
Raw off, we had the match with Solo Sikoa and Rollins. They end off the match. Rock comes out and starts beating the crap out of Seth. Seth gets a big smile on his face. Cody, who's supposed to be not medically cleared, comes out, gets all fired up, starts taking it to the Rock. This was the Cody that I've been wanting to see since the beginning. I feel like he hasn't had enough fire going into this. I said this, that I would have liked to see a little bit more of this going into Mania than at least the fire that he had here. Not so much maybe the crying and stuff like that, where I wanted to see him get a little bit more pissed off about things. And this was what I needed the week before Mania.
Well, I was really glad that they set the record straight on what this infamous bloodline match was, which is just a no DQ match. Is that what we got out of that? Which they didn't finish. Like how do you have a no DQ match where Solo Sikoa doesn't at least get the pin or something in there? It just ended with shenanigans. You wanted shenanigans, and here they are, Steven.
But I want them at Mania.
Shenanigans aplenty.
It's the same shenanigans you're going to get there.
Oh, cheeky shenanigans.
I would have liked to see the Bloodline match be something a little bit more than just a Becky Hugh match. Like, if you're gonna call it something different, like give me like a little twist on it. I don't know what that twist should be. I'm not a Bloodline member, though I'm available if you guys want to hang out. But at the end of the day, this like there was just something here that was kind of missing for me. Like, I thought I just wanted to see something cooler because you're gonna build this stipulation for a match, and then it's just a normal WQ match.
Which you gave us a Bloodline rules match a week before. You're probably going to give us a Bloodlines rules match.
Where like that makes sense.
Well, I mean, if what we think is going to happen is going to happen, if because everyone is kind of leaning towards the idea that this is going to turn into a Bloodlines rule match between Roman and Cody, so we got it a week beforehand for free television on with Seth and Solo. It seemed like we should have gotten something different, especially since, like you said, the match didn't end. If we had just gotten a regular match out of it, and The Rock came down, at least the no contest would have been a little bit more warranted.
Maybe that was intentional, though. They're trying to build up to a precipice. You know what I mean? It's like we tried Bloodline rules, didn't get a result, so we're gonna pull it through again. Let's try it again with these guys. But what do I know?
Well,
I just,
I mean,
hang out.
I mean,
you just work here.
You just work here. So that was the end of Raw. That was kind of where they left us with everything. Again, Bloodline left standing. Cody and Rollins left on their asses. Oh, The Rock beat up a referee too.
Yeah, he whipped that in too. That was
he whipped that ref hard. He's doing a lot of stuff that's really cool. That's on the post show or after the cameras go off. So I have been enjoying that stuff.
I've really been liking the social content that they've been building out of this stuff, and like having a reason to kind of engage more outside of just the end of Raw. Like, there has been some weird ones where, like, at the end of Raw or the end of SmackDown, the cameras end and it's just over. And I think they kind of caught a little flack for that. So the very next segment, when he was beating down Cody last week, it was just because the cameras go off doesn't mean that it's done.
I really enjoyed that, like, because that's if you were really beating the crap out of somebody, that's what that's my suspension of disbelief. That's what I need. And like you said, this is the masterclass that The Rock is bringing to it. I am hoping that we don't overproduce Cody a little bit as much as we have been. So just again, I really like the end of Raw the last 2 weeks. I like that they've done stuff and shown it as it's going off the air. Like, hey, we're still taping it even though we're not here anymore.
But let me ask you this question. Do you guys even want to see Cody as champion? Like, what does champion Cody look like? Like, is he a good champion or just a really good, let me chase the championship?
Yes, sir.
Can I chime in? Okay. Personally,
you're one of the guys.
I don't really like him as champion, man.
Right?
I am a huge fan of his work and everything he's done. But I just feel personally like, as a champion, what do you bring to the table at this point? Yeah, there's a family legacy for sure. And I'm not taking any of that away. But what do you specifically, as the champ, bring to the table? And I don't feel like it's a whole lot.
I've been thinking this for days.
That's a long time.
I think if Cody keeps going the route that he's going, they're going to have to turn him heel at some point, even if he wins the championship, because they're not going to have a choice. The fans are going to turn him heel. They're going to boo him out of the building. Part of my issue with Cody's promos and what he does, he's going a little bit too far in the direction of rehearsing them, where I'm not saying The Rock isn't rehearsing what he's saying, but it doesn't sound rehearsed. Cody is using words that don't resonate with people, words that don't work in normal conversation sometimes. And I feel like when you're trying to be the everyman, because he still has the cadence that his father has. He uses a better vocabulary, which I'm not opposed to that because he brought up in a better world than his father was. When he just tones it down a little bit, it's great. The last couple of weeks, though, it's been too much. And if he keeps doing too much, the fans are going to turn on him. And they're almost starting to. You're getting almost as many Rock chants right now as you are Cody chants.
The Rock
And
is so over right now.
He's so over. And people are into what he's doing, even though he's so clearly doing heel stuff.
Yeah, he's a heel. That's the reason why I know what a heel is because The Rock is teaching me again after I watch everyone call Drew that.
But can I also say that when you guys had me watching the Rollins Rhodes clip when Seth said, "I'll be your shield," when we were getting into all that, the Mania ramp up, when they were talking about the American Nightmare, just the way they were presenting it to me in my head, watching it and hearing and seeing Seth say it, I was like, are you turning heel, bud? Because I feel like this could be the start of you working up to your heel character. It felt like that's what they were trying to do, even if they weren't, and they may not be, but that's what it felt like to me.
I don't think Cody wants to be a heel. I think they're going to have no choice. They're going to get to a point where, like, booing Cena at one point was just cool to do. Cena at no point was a real heel. Cody, I don't think they're going to have a choice if he keeps going down the way he is. And that's why I was really happy that he didn't, because he wasn't medically cleared this week, he didn't talk. He just came out and brought the fight to The Rock. And I wanted to see a little bit more of that going into Mania anyway. I thought he needed a little bit more of that fire, and this week was, even though he got left laying, this was exactly what we needed to see out of him. We needed him to not have a 15-minute promo where he used every version of every word in a thesaurus and dictionary and just get in there and be a little dirty about things. Like, sometimes soldiers and the White Knight has to do the thing that sucks, which is kill the bad guy. Get in there and go fight.
And listen, man, I think heel Cody would bring a lot more to the table as a champion than babyface Cody. That's personal opinion. I just feel like there's a lot he could actually work with as a heel to change his entire persona. Again, of course, he doesn't want to change his entire persona. He is who he is. But I feel like as a heel and a champ, he could absolutely crush it and run with it.
I think WWE just wants a face champion for a little while. It's been so long since that's happened. Like, look at all of their champions right now are all heels. Like, I know Rhea's super over, but
she's a heel.
Like, she's part of the Judgment Day.
Yeah, Rhea's a heel. Io's a heel. Seth is a heel, even if no one wants to believe it.
He's definitely
1,000%. Don't tell me otherwise ever. Change my mind. You won't.
Gunther's a heel. Logan Paul's a heel.
Clearly.
Your Judgment Day tag team champions are heels. Everybody's a heel right now. You need that clean cut Captain America babyface right now.
Is that Cody?
It will be until Survivor Series.
Yeah, or SummerSlam. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. It's fine. That's what it's saying.
So real quick before we get into our Mania predictions, we have a bunch of matches. They finally released what matches are going to be on what nights. So night one, we have Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control, and which is Dakota Kai and Asuka and Kairi Sane. We have the 6-pack ladder match, which is a bunch of tag teams. It's the Judgment Day, which is Priest and Balor, Awesome Truth, DIY, New Day, the New Catch Republic, and A-Town Down Under. Just stupid. Sorry.
I think
Of course you do.
It's
we
so
also
cool.
On night one we will also have the Usos face each other. We'll have Gunther and Sammy face each other. Becky versus Rhea, and of course R&R versus R&R. Rollins and Rhodes versus Reigns and The Rock. That is night one. Night 2, we're going to have Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I believe their stable name is the Pride. I think that's what they're calling themselves. They never actually say it anymore, though, so it always throws me off. Versus the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross versus the Authors of Pain. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens for the United States title. Io Sky versus Bayley. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Now, there's a couple matches that I feel like are out of place on their nights. My big one is the 2 6-person tag team matches. I would like them flip-flopped. That's just me. I realize that they're both technically throwaway matches, but the reason why Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control is not a throwaway match is because you're trying to build Jade Cargill up as your next big female star to be on the level of Rhea, Charlotte, Becky, and all these other ones. And by putting her on night 1, it might be a somewhat throwaway match, but she's lost in the shuffle of all of those people. It's one thing if you're on the show with The Rock, you're on the show where The Rock is actually wrestling. Rock and Reigns are both on there. Rhodes and Rollins are both on there. You have Rhea on there. You have Becky. Gunther is his own level of star, not to mention a giant train wreck of a ladder match that's going to happen. I think that her star power is going to get lost on that, even though it's just a throwaway match. I would flip-flop the 2 6-people tag team matches. And I might have maybe changed one of the other matches. Maybe put Ray versus Dominic on night 2 as well. I think. I that's the only one that I'm really, really upset about as far as where they're at, but
you are so bougie. You're so bougie, bro. Listen, we're going to get 2 amazing nights of amazing wrestling, and you're in here talking about placement and how things should be elsewhere. You, sir, you are selfish.
I'm nitpicking.
Shame on you.
I get what you're saying, Steve. I think that they're just they're putting them in where they can. They want to give Jade Cargill her Mania debut. Like that's kind of.
It's going to be such a squash match anyway.
It's got to be, right?
It's got to be.
Well, do you want to get into predictions, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's get into predictions already. Let us do the predictions.
Oh, I'm totally unprepared for this.
What is that? Is that paper?
It was paper.
So we don't know actually at this point in time what the order of these matches are. We know what the main events are at this point in time, but as of right now, we just have a list of matches. So we'll go through it this way. If you want to guess what my video opener match is, we can do that as well. But at this point in time, we have a list that we all kind of predicted, so we can go from there.
All right. Night 1, we have Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar versus Dominic Mysterio. So the only one that chose something different than the rest of us was Scarps.
Yeah.
He chose Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee to go over on that match. Showtime and I both chose Escobar and Dom. Scarps, why are you choosing that one?
It's Rey Mysterio, bro. Get out of here.
Fair enough.
That's the only reason I need, literally.
See, I'm choosing it because it's clearly a handicap match. It's Dom and Nick Mysterio versus Santos Escobar versus the other 2 guys. That's a handicap match. That's not fair.
I get it, and I love what they're doing with Dom. But again, it's Ray, dude. I'm going Ray, and I'm not changing my guess. That's who I got, and I'm sticking with it.
All right.
I like seeing Dominic get his win over his father year 2. Like last year, we definitely wanted to see him lose, but let's see Dominic start really getting a little more credibility out here. Like I want to see him as a wrestler. Like he is so over. If you think The Rock's over, you can't even hear Dominic talk on the mic because everyone's booing him so hard. Like, do you know what would make those boos louder? If he started winning.
Exactly. I'm in. Let's have him win this one. Next matchup is Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control. Damage Control consisting of Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. We are unanimous on this one.
Yeah,
we all have female New Day winning this match.
Yeah, I feel bad for Damage Control because they've been so kind of dominant over the last over a year or so. But I think that Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill are just gonna stop them. There'll be some back and forth. It won't be like an actual squash match until Jade gets in the ring and starts just tossing bitches around.
See,
I've got a very creepy feeling that the organization is going to do Bianca dirty at some point in time. I don't think it's going to be for Mania, but I think it's coming soon.
What do you mean by do her dirty?
Just like, okay, so I have them winning at Mania, right? But I think there's going to be some kind of switch where she just sees a whole lot of loss in her near future.
Yeah, I think they're doing it to her right now. I think we're witnessing this. She goes from
main eventing and championship matches
to throwaway match in a very quick
match
time.
That should be on the undercard.
Yeah,
like this match should be on the pre-show. My other thing with this is, again, the aesthetic of it. If you combine all three of the members of Damage Control, they weigh about as much as Bianca Belair by herself.
That's right.
That's it. And I don't mean that she's heavy in any way, shape, or form. But the other three weigh about 75 pounds altogether. Next match we have on here is the 6-pack ladder match with the Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, New Day, New Catch Republic, A-Town Down Under. So for this, we have a bunch of different answers.
We sure do, boys.
We have Scarps, who is saying that Priest and Balor are going to retain both titles. That's interesting to me. And I am excited to see if you're right. One of the only times that I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, I love this call from you. It's not what I think is going to happen. It's not what I put on here. But I think this is one of those things that no one would see coming. Where I think they did a poor job by announcing that both tag titles were up for grabs in this match. I think everyone expected this to happen, but Michael Cole announced last night that the rules are the match won't be over until both titles come down. And I think that would have been a nice little surprise for us mid-match or going into the match, really to build that heat with the Judgment Day. But now, them telling us all this stuff and having Judgment Day retain, I think is a cool way to end this match. I think that's awesome.
Now,
every now and then I say something that people are like, oh, wait a minute. I'm glad this is one of them, man. I like it.
Oh, you were paying attention.
Yeah, cool. So anyway.
Showtime. Your pick is Awesome Truth and A-Town Down Under.
Yeah, I just think that they're trying to do something with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. So yeah, so it's just one of those things where they've been kind of jobbing them a little bit. Where I feel like the actual storyline they've been taking them to is actually building them to be a surprise win at this event. So that's the reason I put them there. They had to do something with them because I feel bad for Austin Theory. Like, I don't dislike him, but he's also not my favorite wrestler in the world. But like from 1 year to 1 year, he has fallen far from being the U.S. champion, fighting Cena in the opening match of day one, to just kind of goon who gets beat up by Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in lieu of Logan Paul.
All right, so my pick was Miz and Truth and the New Catch Republic. I think they're gonna try to shove New Catch Republic down their throats a little bit. That's the real reason why I'm picking it.
Some people pay extra for that.
That is true. It's like a ZJ.
If you gotta ask, you can afford it.
All right, next match we've got Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. So we've got 2 J's and 1 Jimmy on this one. Showtime, you're the only one that picked Jimmy. What you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I think Jay's going to win this match. I'm not going to lie. But the smart thing to do here was have Jimmy go over. And here's why I say that. They've done a really good job building up main event Jey Uso. I think at this moment in time, if he beat almost anybody on this card on either night in a one-on-one match, everyone will believe it. If he went over on Gunther, over Sammy, over Logan Paul, or even over McIntyre or Seth Rollins, I think that people would be like, oh, awesome, good for him. At the same time, after they split the Usos, they've had Jimmy just standing in the background with his evil grin. They really haven't done anything with him. And I don't know why. He's just been the thorn in the side to Jay. Like, I don't even remember the last time I saw him in the ring for a match. So in that mindset, I don't think Jay loses anything in his standing if he loses to Jimmy. All that happens is it elevates Jimmy to Jay's level. And all the stuff I just said is still true. It's not like this is a weird upset match. So I would really like to see Jimmy win this one, get that boost that his brother's been getting. And then you could do like a little clinic with this, either have them face off against each other, have Jimmy go on a little run on beating people you wouldn't expect him to beat, and kind of go that route. Because I just think they're doing Jimmy dirty for really no reason at this point in time. If he loses this match, then it's just what's going to happen. He's going to end up tagging with Solo, so he doesn't grow at all, but Jay does.
I also think that I do think we all think that Jay is technically going to win this. Well, usually makes sense, and I think if what you're saying is true comes to fruition, then we can get a nice series of matches out of Jay and Jimmy too. Like this could be from Mania to SummerSlam, and have the blow off be at SummerSlam, and do something.
You could even have this to next Mania, really, and have the IC title. Like give Jimmy the IC title that he cost Jay, and have them face off at next year's Mania and do a big blow off there. That would be cool. There's lots of things you could do with these two guys. I want to see them in the ring together. I'm excited about this match. It's one of the matches I think could be contender for match of the night. I just don't see them do Jimmy dirty like that.
So after that, we have Sammy Gunther. This was a unanimous decision. All of us have the big German. I felt seeing a world where Gunther doesn't come out of this with the IC title. I don't think they should take the IC title off him yet. I don't think that Sammy's the guy to take the IC title off of him, and they don't seem to be building him towards something bigger than the IC title just yet.
Listen, Gunther needs to chop at least 40 more wrestlers before they take it away. That's where I'm at.
I think he loses in Berlin, but as of right now, I think that Sammy loses this one.
I think he does lose in Berlin too.
I just don't like. It's not believable to me that he beats him. Like maybe Jimmy or Jay, I'd potentially be in on that one.
What if they roll him up in like a small package press and just Gunther's just like, I cannot kick out.
So that's what I see happening, right? Like
if it happens, that's how it goes down, right?
It's one of those things where Sammy makes a mistake and gets lucky and learns from his mistake and gets the win, gets a quick roll up. I still am a little disappointed that they didn't make this in like a throw in the towel match. Because like if you're gonna do the Rocky montage, do the Rocky montage.
Throw the towel. Throw the damn towel.
Yeah, let's stick the landing here.
So I'm going with the other stick landing on this. This is gonna be Rocky 1. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna get a double loss. Like it's gonna be a draw.
Wow. A time limit draw would be dope. I was always going to say draw,
or I could see like a German suplex where both their shoulders are down and double pin, like something along those lines where both their shoulders are down, both of them get pinned. Like they keep saying, I wanted to say before when you kept talking about how they're doing the Rocky montage for it. I wouldn't mind seeing that, and then it escalates them to keep going, and maybe Gunther the whole time is like, no, I'm not giving you another match. No, I'm not giving you another match. And he really plays the Apollo card type thing, and he finally gives them the match in Berlin.
Dope. Or that's dope. Or in true Rocky fashion, they boom hit each other, right? They both go down. There's a 10 count, right? Or not a 10 count. They end up getting up and continuing the fight. So the fight actually does end. But for a minute there, everybody's like, holy shit. They both went down. They're not getting up. And then bring in more of the drama.
I'd really like something like that. Or like a big top rope maneuver where they can't get up from. Like, just something. I really want to see.
Break the Spanish announce table. I mean,
That's the thing. Just, you could do it so many ways where neither one of them win and neither one of them would lose any heat off it. So
Steve, I almost said the same ending for the Jimmy Uso match of doing a time limit draw or something on just show how evenly matched they really are.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I think people would be way more disappointed with an Uso time limit draw than what you're saying here. I think this one actually people wouldn't riot on this one.
Next we have Becky and Rhea Ripley for the women's title, for the Raw women's title. We unanimously have all picked Rhea. I think 95% of the world is picking Rhea. I don't see a world where Becky wins this. I think Becky doing the world beating and stuff like that, I think that's a really cool story going into this, but at the same time, I think this is us building towards Rhea being, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea ends up doing a Roman Reigns type reign at this point with that title until she's ready to lose it.
Yeah, I'm Team Mommy all the way. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm cool if they never take the belt off her again at this point in time.
I just thought about something incredibly terrible that is unrelated to this match, so I'll save it for when it's viable. But cool. I cannot wait to give you this hot take.
I am excited to hear it, actually.
You won't be once you hear
it. So we've got Rollins and Rhodes, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. We have a lot of nicknames involved in this one. We have Seth freaking Rollins. We have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. We have the Tribal Chief, the Big Dog, Roman Reigns, and the final boss, The Rock.
You guys are never going to guess how I think this match ends.
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. So unanimously, we have the same decision on this. But I want to know how you think the match is actually going to end.
I swear to God, if you steal what I was going to say for later, I'm going to be so sad.
Rollins is going to double cross Rhodes, and the Bloodline's going to win. Like, I've been saying it for 2 or 3 weeks now. It's set up perfectly for that. I know everyone, I think more people are, sniffing around the Rock double cross. And I think that the Rollins double cross is right there. They've been telegraphing it for us the whole time. This is how you still let Rollins look strong night 2 against McIntyre. And it's how you let Cody feel like he's a bit of a world beater going into it, because he'll still be really, really beat up. It'll be Bloodline rules, and then we'll see what we all think about that match when we get there.
On to night 2. We have Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain. So, I'm the lone wolf on this one. I'm the only one picking the Final Testament. Everyone else has Lashley and the Profits going over on this one.
That's right. All 2 other people. Everyone else.
I think everyone else in the world has that.
All 2 of us.
All 2 of you. Army of 1 plus 2.
I still wanted to see the Authors of Pain in that ladder match. I wish they were there instead of here, because having those 2 monster of people in that ladder match could be really cool. Set up some really cool spots in that. But the Pride, I think the Pride just has Bobby Lashley. I expect him to win. Simple as that. I don't have much more thought process behind it than that.
I'm not gonna lie. I did this one with my heart. I love Karrion Kross. His friend. I hope he wins. I hope he gets a Mania moment. I would like them to be able to turn kind of the push that they've been giving him around and make sure I think that this would be a good start. But I also think that I could just be wishful thinking at this point. Next match we have listed is LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This is once again a 2 against 1. Scarps, you were the only one who chose AJ Styles on this one. What's your reasoning? What's your reasoning on this one?
I like AJ, man. Not that I dislike LA Knight, but I just feel like right now, I feel like AJ wins. AJ does it up. That's just, it seemed like a no-brainer for me, because I feel like this is one of those matches that's kind of just a let's keep the ball rolling type of match. So that's why I went that route.
It doesn't hurt that AJ also looks like he ate AJ's house. He is massive right now. I've never seen him this jacked in his entire career. I still think it's gonna be LA. I think they need to rekindle some of that heat and that push that he had going towards the end of last year. He's lost a lot of it, and I feel like this match hasn't gotten enough time for what they're trying to give us. It could be a great match. Again, this is another one of those ones that could possibly steal night 2. Just like the Usos could steal night 1. I'm very excited to see this match. Showtime, You got anything for this one?
I'm pumped for this match. I just wish I cared more. I just don't think they did a very good job building it. This is the return of AJ. Him coming down and costing LA Knight the Elimination Chamber was such a hot start, such a good way to kind of kick this feud off. And then they didn't do anything with it. And so now I'm just sitting here being like, okay, well, I'm hoping for a good match. Like, I love AJ. Like, we came up in the independents with him at one point in time. So I typically root for him. I probably would want him to win over LA Knight in this situation, but I think LA Knight's going to win this.
Next match, Logan Paul, the United States champion, defending in a 3-way against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. So, me and Scarps both have Randy Orton picked on this one. Showtime, you're the only one who's picking Logan Paul. I said this before we went on the air. I think if Kevin Owens comes out and we're all wrong on this one, it would be amazing. I don't think that's going to be the case, but Showtime, what you got Logan Paul for on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I can see any of these guys winning this match, so it's not that clear cut. I was surprised you both picked Orton, to be honest with you.
Me too.
But at the end of the day, Logan Paul. So I think Logan Paul's going to win because Orton and Owens are in the match. Because you have two buddies, two faces going against the heel. The match writes itself. I won't lie. The reason why I have A-Town Down Under winning the tag titles is also because I think Logan Paul is going to retain. So give the three of them, because they kind of are this little faction-y thing.
Like they're the cool kids.
Yeah, so like,
even though none of them are actually cool.
Hey, you got all that gold. You could buy the coolness, right?
It's fair.
So they'll be talking with Dominic Mysterio in no time. So that's kind of the way I see that going down. Like if I didn't think if Logan Paul had a singles match, I probably would have chose him to lose. But since it's a 3-way, I think he wins.
I'm only picking Orton because I think if Orton wins, it doesn't take any of the shine off Logan Paul. That's the only reason why I'm saying it, is if you're going to do it, if you're going to take that title off of him because he's going to go do a couple other things, which I've heard he might be going to do for a little bit, that's the reason that's the person who you get that off of him, and he doesn't lose any heat because it's Randy Orton.
Or you have Jimmy beat Jay, and then have Jimmy beat Logan Paul. And then I think he still looks strong because you've just built up Jimmy that way.
I just really want to talk about my hot take, so I'm just shaking over here because it's so stupid. I can't wait to tell you guys about it.
We'll get there, bud.
We'll get there.
So close.
So, next match we've got listed is Io Sky, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Bayley, who is the current Women's Royal Rumble winner. So, we've got 2 Baileys and 1 Io. Scarps, you picked Io on this one. You're the army of one in this case.
I am, and to be honest, I really don't have a whole lot to say about this match. That was just the direction that I leaned in. I think it'll be a fun match to watch for sure, but it could go either way. This is just the direction that I decided to go.
For the record, no one has a lot to say about this match, including the WWE. They just do not care about this match.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to be all professional with it, but thanks
No,
for...
we
I
can call
appreciate
it
no,
how
I,
it is.
I just appreciate you being real about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just who I
we can
picked.
call a spade on this one.
Yeah.
I think I hope you're right because I don't want to see Damage Control get completely smashed out. That's the only reason why. But otherwise, I think this is gonna be a good match. Like you said, I think this is gonna be a fun match. I just don't care.
Yeah, I picked Bailey. I could see, this is one of the few matches where I could see it going either way, like pretty easily. Particularly if you have Damage Control get beat up on the first night, actually get a little squashed. Having Io come out strong means it doesn't like completely tank Damage Control. But then I don't know what you do with Bailey afterwards. Like, then she's going on a hiatus because you can't do anything with her. I think that's why I have Bailey winning this because I think she needs the title right now to stay relevant because her storyline is in such flux. She doesn't have that going for her. I don't see her really joining the ranks with Belair, Naomi, and Cargill. Like, I don't see that team happening. So I just don't know what she does if she doesn't win this title.
Yeah, they just don't seem to have
definitely.
anything. They just don't seem to have anything for her. I don't see anything coming in from those two. Next one. This one's I'm really interested in. We got Seth freaking Rollins versus the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship, the Raw title. We have two Drews and a Rollins. Scarps, you're the odd man out again on this one.
I am, boys. And this one was not easy because I really, really, really want McIntyre to win this match. Having said that, I feel like Rollins keeps it. Now, there are a lot of things that could play out if he loses that would help play into my hot take a little bit later. But I did go Rollins on this. Do I kind of deep down as a fan of wrestling hope McIntyre wins? Absolutely. But I think Rollins is taking it.
Showtime, what are you thinking on this one?
That McIntyre is so hot right now.
So hot.
He's like Hansel.
So hot right now.
I don't see how Drew doesn't win this match. He's built so well right now. He is ready to go. Like, I love how I'm still convinced. They keep saying how he doesn't have a contract right now. I'm convinced that the only reason he doesn't have a contract is they're like, here's your contract. You'll sign it. But we don't want people to think that because you just signed a 3-year deal with us that you're definitely going to be champion. So let's pretend like your contract's in flux. That's the kind of way I see it. I think McIntyre's going to go in here. He deserves this win. I like to see him with the idea of him winning that championship with people in the seats. Like, this is his moment. This is his moment.
I do hope that he gets it. He deserved it, 4 years ago, and he didn't get it because worldwide pandemic. So
I hope this is a banger of a match. Like, I hope this match is absolutely awesome. I hope the two of them are vicious. They hate each other. Like, this has real heat feel to it. Like, let's get it, boys.
This feels like it could turn into like a banger of a match, but like in the sense that it might not be the most technical match. It's just going to turn into a fight.
Oh yeah, just like beat the shit out of each other.
All right,
get it.
And now the official main event of night 2 of the show, really. The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world. I know I say it's weird. Against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, the current Royal Rumble winner. I am the only one who picked Cody on this one. Scarps, I want to hear your hot take first.
Okay, hear me out now.
Before it explodes.
He looks like he's got a pee.
Listen, if Seth does lose earlier, which he might, I think that would help to go toward the double cross. So here's my hot take, boys, and this is going to be crazy, even though, who did I pick for this match? You guys, did we make that official? Did we tell everybody?
No, but you died. It's official.
Yeah, so I mean, it's written there. I did pick Roman. However, as we were talking, here's my hot take. the double cross does happen. Seth jumps over. Let's help out the bloodline. Who comes down? Hulk Hogan's obviously not coming out. Who comes down? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Helps Cody take the dub. Boom. Shocker. What's up?
I have heard that one.
Multiple
So-
times.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's the
I
Avengers
quit,
rule.
dude. I'm so done because I
Oh,
got
it's so good that you make this
I
up
got
yourself. It's
so
great.
excited.
He was so excited.
Because my hot take was going to be Hogan's going to come out and do it, and obviously he's not.
He
So I'm like,
can't.
okay, let me just figure out another name. Who could do it? Okay, let's talk about some Southern boys, right? Stone Cold, boom, done. And you're like, people said that already. I quit.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
so there's something.
So they've
going
also
around
said
and
Cena.
called, yeah, the Avengers angle is kind of what they're calling it, where Cody is Captain America, and they're saying that there'll be a immense between Jay and Jimmy, like they'll actually come back together. So now Jay won't double cross him, but he's like, I'm not going to go against my family now. You have the double cross of Rollins. So now there's no one to help Cody in this bloodline rules. And then people like Austin and Cena and Hogan, like fill in the blank.
So my
Will
take's
come
not
down.
hot. My take is completely mediocre and mundane.
No, it's a out there theory, and I think that if it
It's a
does
solid
happen,
medium well.
it would be great if it happens. But it's
Dude,
It's not something that anyone
I'd
business.
flip my shit if that actually happened. My hat might actually fly off my head.
having Rock and Austin in the Mania main event
Yes.
in the ring together
Yes.
is how the magic happens.
And I mean, we got to see Rock and Cena. That was cool at Mania in
We didn't see anything.
No, we didn't actually. I just saw the Rock standing out there, and there was a pillar in front of me the whole time. So, but I digress.
So I'm the only one who picked Showtime. I want to hear why you done pick.
I've been saying the whole time I don't think Cody finishes the story here. I think it's too predictable, right? That's kind of where I'm at. I just somewhere along the lines I got the gut feeling that Roman's going to keep it. If you watched his thing on A&E the other day, I think he said that he might retire after he loses his belt. I don't think he's going to retire right now. I think that Cody Rock is such a hot angle that they can run with after this to set Cody up to do this again next year and kind of keep going to the well.
But if they're
And,
going
you know-
with the Rocky theme, how does Cody, the underdog, so to speak, lose in Philly?
Well, because this isn't Rocky. Because Rocky won, Rocky doesn't win.
I mean, ultimately,
That's how it
he
is.
does right. It's okay. I like
Well,
it.
So if they're going
Okay.
with the Rocky theme, though, this is technically Cody Roman 2.
Sure.
Rocky 2, he wins.
Listen, I'm not saying that I think that there's no doubt in my mind that Roman wins this. But I mean, I've been saying on the podcast like a little the last couple of weeks, I think that Roman's going to win this. I don't know. Like, I just see him retaining. I think that SummerSlam is where Cody wins it.
So my take on this: one, I want Cody to win this.
I also want Cody to win this.
I think we're all in agreement on that for sure.
I want the feel good moment coming out of the alleged biggest Mania of all time. This is
I want the
WrestleMania
Avengers
40.
angle. I want Austin down there, Cena down there, Hogan down there. Like, bring Avengers, assemble.
So
Listen, if Hogan's there, I'm done, bro. Like, let's go.
So I wouldn't mind seeing him there. I halfway just want Cody to win this by himself. I want to see him have to fight his way up the hill. I want him to be, the allies coming to Normandy on D-Day type situation. Like he is the cavalry at this point. He is all by himself. I have said this side of things before. If Rollins does not double cross him, which I think it's a little bit more likely that he does than he doesn't.
He's going to do it.
I absolutely think he is. But because it's becoming such a hot take or such a common angle that everyone is going with, that Rollins is going to do this. He's going to turn heel. I could see them doing it where he doesn't do that.
You keep
In
saying
which case-
turn heel like he's not a heel
Okay,
already.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he's already won.
that he double crosses Cody. He hasn't actually double crossed Cody yet. At least not in the open.
Yeah, not that we know of.
Right.
Yeah. My thing is, if he does not double cross Cody in the tag match, and they go into night 2, I think it is very clear that The Rock will double cross Roman. And I don't think it's going to be a physical thing. I think that they're so busy. One's the final boss, one's the tribal chief. Who's the actual leader of the group in this case? Can't have two leaders. When you have two guys standing in front of a bunch of other people, eyes are only going to go to one guy, right? Like, you can't have two. So I could see with the bloodline rules, Solo gets up on the ring apron and goes to do the spike to Cody. And The Rock doesn't even get physical with it. Just puts his hands up. Just one hand, waves him off, tells him not to do it. And then Cody goes and wins the match clean. Then after the match, I could see rock bottoming Roman as like an exclamation point to it. That's if that is the case. If Rollins double crosses Cody, which seems to be the common idea, I think there's a real good chance that I'm wrong and that Cody doesn't win on night 2. But at the same time, I'm tired of reading this 2-year book, man. Like, I want the story finished. I'm not gonna lie. This is where we're at in the world. I'm ready to hear the end.
I'm with you, and I think I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that Roman retains.
I also think that if you have Cody win, you can have Rock. You can start leading into Rock versus Cody at SummerSlam meeting too.
Well, I mean, Rock wants Rock Roman, right? But he wants that next year at Mania. Is that what that's the whole thing?
I think the only way you can really do that match is at Mania.
So
and I
at
don't
this
think
point,
they're going to do another one year build up.
we're all pretty convinced Rock stays heel, right? That's
Yes, and I think if Roman leaves, it's a little easier for Roman to come back as not a face, but like a anti-hero, where he's going to still do all the same things, but when he says "acknowledge me now," the fans will actually cheer for him.
I like that.
And it's a little bit easier. Kind of, how can I miss you if you don't go away? If he leaves right after Mania, I've heard things about possible treatment for the leukemia and stuff like that, preventative treatments, things like that. If he leaves and he comes back, I think he comes back and he's hot. I think the fans cheer for him.
Comes back like Deadpool, you know?
He's always going to come back like Deadpool. So, those were our predictions for Mania. We have them listed. We will revisit that next week after Mania. I can guarantee that next week's show will be nothing but us talking about WrestleMania. I don't even think we're going to.
fellas. 2 questions before we move off Mania. First, match of the night.
Ooh, match of the night. Match of each night, or just match in general of the show?
Match of the event.
Match of the event.
I'm deferring to you, Steve.
McIntyre Rollins.
I hate you because that's what I was gonna say. So I should have said it first. Yeah, dude. I honestly think that is gonna be a grueling, just in your face, balls to the wall match. And
I think it's gonna.
That
I
match
think it's
is
going
not
to turn
gonna
into a
disappoint.
fight. Yeah, I think it's going to turn into a fight, and I want to see a fight. I think Cody and Roman is going to be awesome, but I think Rollins and McIntyre, we've been getting so much from them where they kind of haven't really touched in months. When they finally get a chance to lock horns, I think it's going to be awesome.
I'm going to go with Becky Rhea.
Also a good choice.
That's gonna be a
Becky
good match.
Rhea, I think after this Mania is done, that's going to be looked at as the best women's match in wrestling history.
I think it has
Bold
possibility.
prediction, Cotton. Let's see
it
how it plays out.
It has a lot of possibility to be that. They're heading into that match hot.
Yeah.
All right, so question number 2 for me, Showtime.
Question number 2. I don't want to call it moment of the night. Like, what do you think the biggest surprise is going to be at me? There's always a surprise person that shows up. Match that went completely sideways. I didn't expect to see it. What's your surprise? What's your mania moment of this mania?
Jake Paul shows up to support his brother, and Mike Tyson's there.
Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah,
That one I haven't heard before.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that one. So they haven't fully confirmed anything with him. Not talking about your stuff, Scarps. They haven't confirmed anything with this man. They've said they've approached him. I think we're going to find out that Sylvester Stallone is going to be the host of WrestleMania.
I really hope so, dude. That would be incredible. I'd be so pumped.
And then we'll get a night where we'll get Stallone in the room. We'll get the Ultimate Man and the Ultimate Meatball. Baby. We'll have him and Hogan in the same room together because you know they're not going to have Stallone in there and not have Hogan in there.
A little Rocky and Thunder Lips rematch?
Yes. I hope he wears the hat.
Flesh, baby.
I'm just saying, dude. Like,
if he wears the fedora with the tassels.
I'll be over the top if Hogan's there, bro. Over the top.
Scarps is crying just thinking about it. Like,
I also love... You guys know how much I love Stallone, too. So, and I may have used the Stallone movie reference when I said I'll be over the top. That's neither here nor there. If Hogan's there, I'm here for it. I'll pop, dude, so hard.
I mean, all that we're missing for Scarp's dream is a little bit of Arnold.
Come on. Sorry. We know I can't do that, but it's fine.
Showtime, what are you thinking?
I'm assuming I can't use Ron double cross his reds because I've said it so many times, right?
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Is
that a shocker at that point?
So if I can't use that one, I'm going to say that you get Stone Cold. I think Stone Cold's going to show up.
I think
he's
that.
going to insert himself in a match, probably the main event. I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock gets stunned by Stone Cold.
And you get the biggest stunner bump in the history of the world. Because
that's the bottom line.
Over the top rope.
Yeah, but like up the ramp too. Like he just keeps rolling up the ramp. And it's going to be even crazier because The Rock weighs 350 pounds of pure muscle right now. So I don't know how he's going to do it.
He's so big.
He's still so... Yeah, but he's also so agile, dude, and so athletic that he can do whatever he wants at command.
I don't disagree with you, but you can definitely see. I noticed it when he was getting up on Raw. You could see size and age were starting to take into a little bit of effect on him. Like he had that moment where he used the knee to stand up. I was like, oh, that's the dad get up. That's the dad get up.
I get up like that now, and so
I know
feel
that's
yeah.
We know the look. That's why I knew what he was doing.
When you go, yeah.
I'm allowed to make that because as the one that's actually a dad of the podcast,
you are a dad.
I have to.
You are a dad. So, with that said, those were Mania predictions for both nights. There's only time left for one more thing, and that thing is... Esquire's Inquiries. Scarps, what you got for us?
Oh, hey, boys. So, question for you both. If you were to, because we're going into WrestleMania and all this ramp up, I guess my question will be Mania specific. What would your criteria be? And I already know Showtime's answer, but I know he's going to go get more involved in it. The perfect WrestleMania match, in your opinions, not a past match, but what are the criteria for both of you that need to be fulfilled in order for it to be one of the greatest Mania matches?
Showtime, I'll let you take this first, mainly because you set the criteria for our initial list.
It's right
I know
here.
you have it in writing.
So what I start with above anything else is I want a good match. Like, it's still wrestling, and the reason why Piper Bret Hart was so high on my list was because I thought it was just an epic match. It was a really good match between two guys that had a story. I think the story comes next for me, where I want to care about this match. I really, really want to know why they're fighting, why this matters. I want to be invested. And then I want something spectacular to happen. Like, give me the Andre scoop slam. Give me something that I didn't think possible, or they do something that's so impactful. That guy winning the world title for the first time, something that just gives you the goosebumps. That like makes it all worth it. There's a huge payoff. Those are kind of my three things. Like, I do have a whole bunch of things over here. Obviously, I want to see a creative match. I want to see some of this other stuff, like the crowd reaction. I want to hear them go nuts this whole time. But really, those three things are the key things for me. Having a strong, strong match, having something that like really supersedes expectations, and a story that I'm in. Where honestly,
may I add also, does it have to be a pure match, or can there be like, what if there are stipulations to the match? Does that take away from the match itself for you? Like if it's this is let's not even go no DQ. Let's just say, hey, this is a ladder match. Does that take it away from you?
I think a lot of the gimmicks work, right? I have no problem with ladder matches, Hell in the Cells, even no DQs, as long as the weapons used are on a limited capacity. I'm not a big hardcore wrestling fan. I don't love it when there's 1,000 people in there. There's no way this 6-team scramble is going to be that match for me, because there's just too many of those people in there, and it's just going to be a spot junkie bonanza. So those are the things that pull that away from me, individual. But ladder match, Hell in the Cell, like there's so many. Like I quit match, like whatever you want to throw at it. Like I'm in, as long as you're not doing stuff where I'm throwing 15 chair shots to the head, putting you through a table, and then you're kicking out from me.
So when you can no longer suspend disbelief, you're out.
That's it. I watched this to forget everything else and lean in. And I think that's part of what, like, not to get too far on this rant, that's part of AEW's problem, what they're not saying, is because if it's just the match with no story in it, like we know, we know what we know, right?
It's like watching a football game at that point.
Because the NFL's rigged too.
Well, more so because you don't really care. There's no story. You're like, yeah, one of these guys are going to win. Cool.
So I guess I'm up then.
Mr. Icefire, if you would.
Good luck following that.
I agree with Showtime on a lot of them. My thing is, unfortunately, we're in a realm now where Mania sells itself, right? Like Mania sells out as soon as it goes on sale. So it's a little different than it used to be. I'm a big believer in drawing power, though. Again, Hogan and Andre sold out WrestleMania 3.
Oh, 100.
And that, I guess that goes and attests to what Showtime said about having a good storyline to go with it. I think you need to have every aspect of it, right? Like you need to have, I need a match. I need to have a good match. It doesn't necessarily even need to be the best match on the card. But I do agree with you. I think it needs to have kind of that moment. Rock Hogan wasn't the best match on the card, but it was a good match, and it had the moment. That them standing with each other, staring at each other, the flashbulbs going off in the crowd, seeing all of that stuff. I love that. So, good match. It needs to be a good match. It needs to have some type of star power to it, which you would assume because it's Mania, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes you get something weird. I'm not opposed to the gimmick match. I think I want an actual gimmick, though, not necessarily like a no DQ match. I want an actual ladder or a cage or something along those lines. Honestly, the cage match has been utilized in WrestleMania very limited. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing a cage drop down on a match this year. Like, I know Showtime had mentioned it'd be cool if you had Bloodline rules and Triple H said, yeah, it's Bloodline rules. Here's this cage. Try to get in there.
Get it. I dare you. I would pop so hard for that. I think that's the best possible scenario for this match.
Especially since it's going to be, obviously, it's at the Link. It's going to be an outdoor show. No, you could hide that cage that needs to be dropped down. Because you could hide it up in the set up top. So it'd be something that could be a surprise thing. That would be awesome. But as far as my criteria, I think you need a good match. I'm always going to look at the business aspect of it. I think the draw needs to be almost as big as how big the match is. and then you need the moment. Like he said, I do agree with the moment. And I think sometimes you need to make sure, again, it's one of those things where we've all worked in hospitality. Every table is different, right? You need to be able to read the table situation. Sometimes you need to give the fans what they want as well. And it might even be knowing what the fans want more than the fans do. That's why a year later, we're okay with seeing Roman and Cody again, because last year they killed it and everyone was so mad. But this year we're like, yeah, we're back again. And we're even stronger behind it now.
Speak for yourself. I don't like redo matches on Mania.
You know
Yeah,
who else agreed? You know who else agreed
You've
with you
been
on
pretty
that?
clear about that, bud.
Yeah, you know who agreed with him?
No.
CM Punk said it on Ariel Helwani. He said he does not like redo matches.
Put it somewhere else.
He said he
All
does
right,
not like them redoing.
That would have been a perfect opportunity for me to talk some shit and throw some shade, but because it's CM Punk that said it, I'll refrain.
Yeah. You just thought you were throwing shade at Showtime, didn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. And then I'm like, I like Punk, bro, and I'm good.
Thanks, Punk. Appreciate you, bro.
See, he's not doing the straight edge with you. I'm sorry. So that was our episode. We are a few days out from Mania. Next week, we will absolutely do nothing but recap what happened on WrestleMania. That is going to be the biggest thing. That is, I guess, the start and the end of our year, right? Like that's how our fiscal year goes: is start with Mania and end with Mania.
Yeah, and if you don't get a chance to watch Mania, listen to us because we're going to be covering it. I mean, it'll be post-show, obviously, but we're going to talk about the ups and downs. It's going to be bananas.
You don't want to review the show before it happens?
I would actually like to do it pre-show, but it is a bit difficult, and I am not that clairvoyant.
I'm still
Based
waiting
on my picks previously, you can tell.
So, boys, I did want to bring this up. I know I'm ending with this. I kind of want to start with it, unfortunately. Bad timing on my part, I guess. Today marks a historic episode for us. The majority of podcasts in this world never make it past episode 10. This is officially episode 11 if we count our bonus episodes.
Ooh.
We have beaten the odds. Actually, most podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. That was like 7 best episodes ago for us.
We're pretty awesome.
We are pretty awesome. So, on my side of things, guys, I want to say thank you for coming along with this. This has been honestly the most fun of anything that I do in the world right now. I know we take it seriously, but at the same time, if I could just do this all day with you guys, I'd probably rather do this than my shoot shop. So on my side, thank you. Thank you for letting us get to 11 episodes. If you guys out in the world are listening to us, again, the easiest thing that you can do to help us out is hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, follow us on all forms of social media, which all of our links will be in the description. I promise you. We already went over what next week's episode is going to be. It is Mania. Mania. I feel like we've been talking about Mania since February because we have. But with that said, have fun, make money. Boys, you have a good night, and we will talk to everyone next week after Mania.
Hey, Steve, I just want to say one thing to you, and it's something along the lines of what The Rock wants to say to Cody's mom, and it's, you're welcome.
Boys, that was yeah. I'm leaving off there that one.
Thanks all. We love you.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.